Good day, everyone. My name is Sherika Paul, and with me today are my colleagues Natalia Brown-Pitt, Shalise Batiste, and Donnelly Mew Young. We will be exploring different approaches to literature review. Our group is exploring an important question. How do single parent households impact a child's educational development in the Caribbean? Through this literature review, we would examine what existing studies reveal about their influence on children's academic performance, access to educational support, school participation, and overall educational development.
This topic is significant because family structures in the Caribbean are diverse, and education is often seen as a pathway to opportunity. Yet children in single-parent households may face unique challenges related to economic resources, parental involvement, and social expectations.
As a group, we have selected 5 articles to answer this question. These include qualitative research from Jamaica, quantitative analyses from St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Belize, mixed method studies from the Caribbean Journal, and comparative work from the Bahamas. Together, each study gives us a balanced view of both lived experiences and measurable outcomes. Let's begin with the research journey.
When looking for research surrounding any research topic, it can be a very tedious process. However, we find that once you use search engines such as Google Scholar, something will show up. Google Scholar is a place where you can find peer-reviewed articles. So here we use Google Scholar and we found a mixed method research that was done in Jamaica that was useful for our topic.
Our thesis is across the Caribbean, children from single-parent households often experience reduced educational support. However, extended family involvement, teacher support, and adaptive resilience strategies play a critical role in mitigating these disadvantages and promoting academic success.
To understand how scholars frame this issue, Natalia and Donnelly will now walk us through the theoretical frameworks.
Thank you, Sherika. Let's begin with the theories that shape how researchers understand this issue. In Jamaica, Mackenzie's study uses Bakhtin's social theory to highlight how parents, teachers, and principals perceive their roles in children's education. This theory emphasizes dialogue and the way different voices shape understanding. The other study that was done in Jamaica by Charlene Cole had multiple theories for its theoretical framework. The overlapping spheres of influence theory show that parental involvement is necessary to help a child to feel motivated to work hard in school. The social capital theory shows that children need good resources, example, finances, in order to perform well in school. The ecological theory shows that different environments impact the way a child will succeed in their education. In Belize, Virus and colleagues applied ecological theory, which show us how children's education development is influenced by interactions among family, school, and society. This was especially relevant during the COVID-19 pandemic, when disruptions affected all 3 spheres.
In the Bahamas, Bowe and Johnson used structural functionalism to examine how family structure shapes father involvement. This theory suggests that each family role contributes to the functioning of the whole system. Together, these frameworks converge on the idea that family roles and structures matter deeply for educational outcomes, but they emphasize different aspects, such as roles, resilience, or structure. Now that we have seen how the problem is framed theoretically, Shalise, sometimes it's difficult to tell the madness of the method or the method to the madness that we've come across in our research. Sometimes researchers say the design is a mixed methodology, but they survey only 10 participants. Different methods were used in the research that we conducted, right, Shalice?
Yes, Donnelly. The 5 studies we reviewed also differ in methodology, which gives us multiple lenses to understand the issue. Mackenzie's Jamaican study is qualitative, relying on interviews with parents, teachers, and principals. This approach captures perceptions and lived experiences in depth. Cole's Caribbean Journal article uses a mixed methods approach, combining surveys with focus groups to explore family involvement in grade 1 students. This bridges numbers with narratives. Perez et al.'s Belize study and Warrican et al. St. Vincent and the Grenadines study are both quantitative, using a large-scale survey to compare single-parent and nuclear families during the COVID-19 pandemic. This provides measurable outcomes across a broad sample. Each method has strengths and weaknesses. Qualitative captures nuance but lacks validity. Quantitative provides breadth but risk oversimplification. Mixed methods strengthen validity but remain context specific. With these methods in mind, Sherika and Donnelly, there is a very important step. It's the synthesizing of findings across studies.
Thank you, Shalice. Across the studies, several themes emerged. Firstly, single-parent households often show lower academic performance. In Belize, adolescents from single-parent families had lower attendance and homework completion. Same in the Bahamas, fathers' involvement was inconsistent, which affected children's schooling. Secondly, extended family support is crucial. The mixed method study showed that grandparents, siblings, and community members often step in to help children when parents cannot.
Third, parental education and socioeconomic status strongly influence involvement. Mackenzie's Jamaican study revealed that parents with more education place greater emphasis on their children's schooling. But there are contradictions. In Belize, grit levels, meaning resilience, perseverance, were similar across single-parent and nuclear families. In the Bahamas, fathers' involvement varied widely, challenging assumptions about gender roles. These findings connect through what we call thought bridges. For example, building on Jamaica's focus on roles, the mixed methods study shows how extended family support fills gaps. In contrast, the St. Vincent and Belize studies highlight measurable differences in attendance and homework completion. These findings raise critical questions about what is missing in the literature. Sharika?
Thank you, Donnelly. Despite these insights, there are important gaps in the literature. First, few studies are longitudinal. We do not know how these dynamics evolve over time, from early childhood into secondary or tertiary education. Secondly, policy interventions are rarely explored. There is little research on how schools or government can support single parent households more effectively. Thirdly, many studies rely mostly on self reported data, which can be biased and incomplete. From a logic of social inquiry perspective, we must ask these questions. Are the methods sound? Qualitative studies capture nuance but lack generalizability. Quantitative surveys provide breadth but risk oversimplification, while mixed methods strengthen validity but remain context specific. This shows the importance of integrated methods to get a fuller picture. Finally, Natalia and Donnelly will conclude with our overall stance and future implications.
In conclusion, single-parent households face educational challenges, but resilience emerges through extended family support and cultural adaptation. Future research should expand to secondary and tertiary education levels, conduct cross-country Caribbean comparisons, and explore policy interventions such as parental workshops and school support programs. Post-COVID, digital learning impacts also need attention.
Our synthesis shows that while challenges exist, Caribbean families demonstrate adaptability and strength in supporting children's education. On behalf of our group, thank you for listening.